welcome to the Counterattack playthrough series. We're playing Barbarossa, Kiev to Rostov, 1941. This is the second installment. The first installment was the first learning scenario, Rostov redeemed. This is scenario number 4, which is the second learning scenario, the Battle of Sumy. This is on another one of those little mini maps, which I appreciate designers producing. The basic idea of this scenario is that the Germans were ordered to move through this area up through Sheptpova to Sumy. And intelligence had detected a gap between two Soviet armies, so they're going to exploit that gap, get up there, and join with the drive on Moscow, I believe. So they started to do that, but like the day before, the Soviets noticed they did have a gap, so they filled it in with a cavalry corps. So the objective of this scenario for the Germans is to get 5 of 7 victory locations. Sumy has 2, they're depicted on the map with stars. Here's Viri, Lebedin, I think there's one around here somewhere. Stepova. So those are all under Soviet control, so they have 5 of them. And then the Germans have Nedrigailov. Sorry for my Russian speakers. I don't know Russian pronunciations. And Lipovaya Dolina. So the Germans have those 2. And so the Germans need 5 to win. The Soviets just need to prevent that. Or even if the Germans get 5, if they destroy 6 step losses, destroy 6 steps of German units, they'll win regardless of the number of stars. So let's get cracking. We go ahead and start the first turn with the strategic segment, starting with the weather determination phase. Now this is a learning scenario, so the weather has been fixed at dry, and there's no storms, so we're good there. We can see it's going to last 4 turns, starting on September 28th to the 29th. Game turn 50 if you're playing the campaign. So yeah, there's no weather to determine. It's just going to be fixed to dry. And since it's a learning scenario, there's a few other things. There are no supply sources. We ignore supply, basically. No general supply, attack supply. Soviets cannot surrender due to being cut off. No railroad movement. No railroad building or cutting. No replacements. There are reinforcements. Contrary to the first learning scenario. We can't build strong points, we can't do air transport, and all scenario hexes are in range of all air units. And I could have just shown that to you because these handy little scenario cards have that all written there. So then we go into the replacements phase, the supply determination phase, but we're skipping that because of the scenario rules. The replacements phase, same thing, no replacements. Reinforcements phase, there are reinforcements coming in. The Soviets have a stack of guards units coming in as reinforcements over back behind Sumy. Air readiness phase, there are air units available. We can see them way over there for both sides. They're all in the ready spot, so it doesn't really matter. And then we go into the Axis air interdiction phase, and this is the first time encountering this in these learning scenarios. In the Axis air interdiction phase, units capable of interdiction can fly into a hex and project the equivalent, I suppose, of a zone of control. And that basically limits the Soviets' ability to move through that projection. Basically strategic movement, railroad movement, flotilla movement, which aren't really applicable for this scenario, are limited. And also, if there's a headquarters within the range, this is the combat air support, this is the interdiction range, or strength, I should say, interdiction strength. If there's a Soviet headquarters within the zone of interdiction, its abilities are limited. So that's probably the most important thing to use interdiction for, at least in a scenario like this. So we see here there's a German Henkel 111 bomber that can do interdiction. Then there's a dummy air unit, so the Axis can use that to sort of spoof the Soviets. Soviets will be able to attempt to intercept with their fighter, They also have a bomber in their ready box, but that won't be able to be used. Okay, so I think they want to target this headquarters. The Germans could use their dummy air unit in one spot and the real bomber in another, and I think we'll do that. Thinking we'll go ahead and put one here. Note that I'm putting it down face down, so the Soviet player doesn't know what the choice was. And I'm going to go ahead and double up with another here. So remember, they're going to project a zone of control. It's not really a zone of control, zone of interdiction. So what I'm doing here is trying to make sure, well, both are projecting zones of interdiction onto the enemy headquarters, and that makes the Soviets, if they want to try to intercept, have to guess which one is the real aircraft and which one's the fake one. So now the Soviets come in. You know, there's no real need to do a face down, but I'll go ahead and do it. So they need to pick one of these. Since I know which one's which, how about we'll call this 1 to 5, 6 to 10. Okay, 1 to 5 it is, right there. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and reveal these. So flip this one. Oh, that guy made it in. Okay, so we would then flip these. In this case, it doesn't really matter, so maybe next turn we'll discover what it means to have air-to-air combat. So both these guys go to the flown box. I'm not so sure about the dummy, but I'll go ahead and put it there for now. Okay, so since there's no air combat going on, this guy now has to take part or take anti-aircraft fire. So I'm going to go ahead and roll one die and consult the AA fire table, because the headquarters is AA fire capable. I rolled a 4. I need 7 or less to have no effect, and that's what happened. Let's see here. Yeah, 7 or less. Soviets are firing. I can add 1 for a Soviet headquarters, but still it's too low. Okay, so this guy has interdicted. We take its interdiction value, the rightmost number there, and get a interdiction level marker here just to remind ourselves, and then it goes back to the flown box. Okay, so these hexes are interdicted up to level 1, so that basically reduces a headquarters command points by 1, so this headquarter has no command points. There's also some other negatives, but we'll go ahead and see those when it matters. Okay, well that's the end of the strategic segment. Now we start the Axis player segment with the Axis movement phase. So we need to decide what we're going to do here with the Axis units. We have a decent force way down south here, and then a weaker force up towards the middle here. Now one thing I'm thinking I want is to get the integrity bonus when panzer units all attack together from the same formation. There's a bonus, and then you can add to the bonus if you add in multiple units from a motorized division with the panzer division. But there's not a lot of units available if I want to try to get some kills here. So one thing that might be interesting in order to open things up a bit is if I can take out this unit here and this unit here, and then I suppose block this guy or eventually take it out. Kind of opens up this whole area here. And then if I can mass my forces in there, they can come down this way, grab this if they want. They could choose to go up this way and grab one of, go for those victory locations. Unfortunately, there are some Soviet reinforcements coming in, so that might not happen, but I think we'll do that. And so maybe these forces down here will either try to harm these guys or at least just pin them down. So let's go ahead and do the movement phase. So we are in dry conditions. I better get my terrain chart out. Go ahead and move the 9th Panzer first. So just want to see what a track is, or a minor road is in dry. If the terrain is clear, it's a half a movement point. If it's not clear, it's 1 movement point. So I think these guys will try to take him out. So go ahead and go 1, and then 2 for the zone of control. Same thing there. Go ahead and go here. This guy's going to go 1. Oops, hold on. Half. 1.5, because I didn't go along the road there. 2.5. 3.5, 4.5 for the zone of control. Well, our movement's 9 here. Guess we'll go ahead and bring these 25th motorized up as well. Maybe to take this guy out. So half, 1, 2, 3 for zone of control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zone of control. Is there any gray guys down here? No, they're all the 16th motorized, all stacked together. Is there anything I even need to preserve down here? Well, we got a victory location there. These guys can't move too fast, so I think they will move up. They'll go 1. Let's see, railroad. Railroad is other terrain, so yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We'll want to move this artillery unit up. Maybe I'll put it in range. Well, I could put it in range of both of these, or I can move it up to here and keep it in range up here, and it could help in the defense. I think that's what I'll do. So it'll go 1, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. And then the last German unit is this 10th motorized up here. Now he's pretty isolated. I could pull it back across the river here into Nedrigailov, but that might just be making it too easy for these guys to come forward. You know, maybe that's good though. Maybe if he comes back, it might draw these guys in here and then allow for a counter punch back here. Who knows? But you know, I think I just want them to sit tight, and if they attack, you know, maybe I'll do a retreat order. Okay, so I chose not to do overruns. Probably should have done some overruns. That's okay, maybe we'll do it on the next turn. Okay, so then we enter the Axis attack declaration phase. Got a few attacks we want to do. Go ahead and do this one. Not only do I want to do them, but some of them I have to do. For example, I want these guys to attack here, which does require this guy to be attacked. So there's these 2 attacks here, and then the one I put down earlier there. So we're going to do those 3 attacks. Now we do the Soviet reaction phase. Soviets are in trouble though, in terms of trying to react. Well, their headquarters is interdicted, and so it cannot issue orders to motorized units to move. It only has 1 command point, so it could have issued orders to one of those guys. It can also issue no retreat orders, but you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it could have done a no retreat order on this guy, but it is interdicted, so it's not going to be able to do that. So severely hampering the Soviets' flexibility by interdicting the headquarters. Let's see, I guess that's their phase. There's no reaction. So now for the Axis combat phase. They have no more ready aircraft, nor do the Soviets. Well, actually, what am I saying? Yeah, so the Axis have no ready aircraft, but the Soviets, they can fly in combat air support. So they use their fighter to try to intercept the dummy air unit. but they still have this SB bomber. So we'll just keep that in the wings once the attack is declared. So let's see. I think maybe the Axis will conduct this attack first here. Let's get a little closer look here. So, by the way, I'm supposed to make sure attacks when I declare them are of 1 to 4 odds or better. It's pretty clear they are here. So we'll go ahead and do this attack. The combat odds are 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 to 3. So that's 3 to 1. I think we'll go ahead and throw artillery in. No, we'll keep it at 3 to 1. 3 to 1. And I guess the Soviets get to decide if they're going to throw their aircraft in there. So if it makes it in, it would reduce the odds. So I think that's good. Go ahead and do that. So their SBs flying in. It's going to try to give 1 point of ground support. I guess this is the combat support right here, 1. But it has to undergo anti-aircraft fire. Dig out my anti-aircraft chart somewhere. It's quite a few charts. Gotta dig it up. We're rolling. Got a 2, no effect. They do add, the Germans get to add +1. No. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, no effect, so no anti-aircraft. So the Soviets do make it in. So that does contribute to the combat strength. It's a 4 now. So 9 to 4 is now 2 to 1, I believe. Let's see, is that, yes. Okay. I might be doing a lot of these in out of order, but it doesn't, it's not really mattering too much here. Okay, so the Germans are going to roll on the 2 to 1. They're not using that artillery. They're not issuing retreat or no retreat orders. Here we go. Got a 5, -1 for divisional integrity bonus. So since more than one unit is attacking from this same Panzer division, they get to subtract a die roll. So on a 5, -1 is 4. On 2 to 1, that's 1-1, 1 step each. So that's too bad because remember, one of the victory conditions is the Germans lose 6 steps. Okay, so this guy is reduced. I was hoping he would be destroyed. The aircraft goes back to the flown box. So we need to reduce one of these Germans here. Looks like they're all 2-step units. I think we will lose the recon unit. Goes to the cadre box. And that's it. That was uneventful attack. Poor attack. I probably should have really massed my forces and try to avoid step losses. So of course I'm going to make the same mistake here. I must attack since I had declared an attack. We get 6 to 3, that's 2 to 1 into clear. That's it, there's nothing else to it. Now there's there's 2 units from the same division here, but you only get that integrity bonus if there's also multiple Panzer units. So if these 2 Panzer units that were here attacked here with these guys, I would get -1 for the Panzers and -1 for the Motorized. But since they're not attacking together, I don't get any. Okay, here we go. It's a 4 on 2 to 1, same thing. Germans are just destroying themselves here. So 1-1. Oops. So what do we want to do here? If I destroy this guy, then this guy will be attacking by himself without integrity bonus. If I just harm this guy, he'll be weaker. think we'll just go ahead and flip them so I can keep the integrity bonus. So that was bad. Poor generalship. Oh, you know, I forgot this was firing with them. So does that matter? That was 6. That was 8 to 3. Looking at the combat odds, what's available? No, that did not matter. Nope. Okay. So, but we'll just say it did fire. Okay. 3rd combat, which is probably also a horrible combat since 2 step losses have already been taken. And by the way, there's no way for me to track this, so I'm just going to track Axis armor replacement. There's an Axis armor replacement marker off the board. I'm just going to use that temporarily. There's 2 step losses right now. Okay, what do we got here? We have a 3 in clear. We have 7, 8, 9, 9 to 3, 3 to 1. Odds. Let's roll. Rolled a 10. That's not good. Okay, that's a R star. By the way, I'm really taking shortcuts on this. Like I'm supposed to be doing, you know, do I want to issue no retreat orders? Do the Soviets want to issue no retreat orders? That kind of thing. The answer is no so far. So all remaining units must retreat. And then a star means the attacking force must lose an extra step if it attacks without attack supply, but that doesn't count in this scenario. If it attacks a non-destroyed enemy fortification, nope. And if it's making a mandatory attack, nope. It also might affect it if they were using an integrity bonus for armor or engineers attack capabilities, but nope. So they have to retreat 2 hexes. They'll just retreat back to Lipovaya Dolina. Okay, well, I guess that's better than losing a step. That's the Axis combat phase. Now we do the Axis motorized movement phase. Motorized and cavalry units of the Axis can move at half movement, which for them is pretty quick. Do we want to move these guys? And can they move using infiltration? Well, they can only infiltrate in the phase where they get to move their entire movement allowance, and that was the movement phase, not the motorized movement phase. So, do I want to like pull off and go somewhere else? I don't think so. Now these guys down here that retreated, well, they retreated, they can move back. So this guy can go 4.5. I'd like them to go up here and help destroy these things, try to get some big bonuses, but you know, I don't want to give up a star here, so maybe they'll just go 1, or I guess that's a half. And this guy can come out through here. Yeah, they'll go half and then another half plus 1 for zone of control. And the guy way up here, yeah, he's just going to stay there still. Okay, now the Axis engineering phase. There's a lot of things you do in that phase, but we're not doing any of them in this scenario. So that's the end of the Axis player turn. So now we're starting the Soviet player segment with the motorized movement phase. Soviets get to move motorized units full movement and cavalry half. So let's see what we have. Well, they want to try to inflict damage on the Germans. They've already done 2 step losses to them. There's just 4 more and they'll win. They also need to prevent 5 stars from going to the Germans. The Germans already have 2. So I think it's clear the big push is coming here, and so that they should try to stave off any kind of collapse in that area. There's nothing really going on up north right now, though the Germans have good movement points, so they could swing around and hit up there pretty hard. So before we do anything, let's go ahead and see what kind of reinforcements we have. So reinforcements coming in. We have a rocket artillery. Well, that's not eligible to move this turn. Infantry, or motorized infantry, and motorized infantry and armor. Okay, so rocket artillery is not coming in right now, but so we'll go ahead and move these motorized units in though. They can go their full movement. A main road is half a movement point, so we'll go 1. Moving into a city is half, so 1.5. And then what do they want to do? I think we're gonna put them down here maybe. So a minor road, if it's not clear terrain, it costs 1. So let's see, that was 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4, 5. By the way, these reinforcements are coming from off map, so they do not need to be activated by headquarters or anything like that. Also, interdiction level has no effect on normal movement. So it's just on strategic, rail, and abilities of headquarters. So this guy can cruise down to here too. Remember our stacking value can be up to 10. This right now we're at 6. So they're piling into Stepovka. Maybe this guy will move in here with the cavalry pulling back. Let's see why we did that. So I pulled them back. So maybe we'll draw these guys in. They'll be try to attack here. That'll just delay a turn because keep them from piling into here. If they do destroy this, they could, you know, motorized move down this way a little bit, but I think we're okay there. Let's get that other armored unit. It's got 6, so 1, 1.5. You know, we'll just keep moving on down with this guy. It could go 1 more. No, that would cost 1. So let's see, that was 1, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. Oh, so they could make it down to stack here. Maybe they will. Okay. Then what do we have up here? We have some cavalry, another armor. So maybe the cavalry, well, I don't want these guys crossing the river here, so maybe these guys will just stay here. And this guy, yeah, maybe he's in a good spot too. We got a good force here. Okay, down south. This guy, he's about to die, so we'll pull him back a little. In fact, I think I want to pull this guy back too. Cavalry running across a river in dry just costs +1 extra movement point. So he has 3 movement points. It's going to cost 1 to go here. So I think that'll be 2. Get across the river. What do we got going on here? I think we'll pull these guys back half. So get them across the river. Just in case these guys want to go this way. Now, in a way, me doing this sort of releases these guys to cruise up here, but they have to be wary of a Soviet move back to Lipovaya Dolina. So this guy here, yeah, I'm a little worried about this. These guys can just come right across the river. Unlike other games where rivers are major boundaries, and these normal rivers are not. So I feel like, you know, maybe I'm not doing this very well because these guys could just power right through here. So maybe this guy will pull back up to like this. This guy's the zone of control projected out here, so it would stop these guys from coming up after them. And then he'll spend 2 movement points to pull back to here. So if these guys try to come in here, yeah, they can't. They have to attack. Okay. So Soviets, that was their entire motorized movement phase. Now, of course, you probably noticed that I made a mistake, which was This guy down here couldn't move because he's not cavalry or motorized. All right. Now for the Axis reaction phase, their motorized units can go half their movement values. Now we do have some motorized units. So the Soviets are not in a position to attack right now. So maybe the Germans want to take advantage of that Soviet pullback. Yeah, they'll take a little bit of an advantage. So the Soviets still have a movement phase though, so gotta be careful here. Let's see, Soviet movement phase. All units except for motorized units can go full movement. So that means all the cavalry can go their full movement allowance. The motorized units go half. So yeah, Germans have to be careful here. Yeah, maybe they're good right now. Yeah, because I don't want these guys rushing across here over... Let me show you what I'm talking about. If these guys move, these guys could rush over here. You know, going to... If I move them out of the way so there's no zone of control between these guys can power through here. 6, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so they would be able to go capture that if these guys moved. So that's not good. So I think they're not going to react. Okay, then is the Soviet combat phase. No combat. Soviet movement phase. All right, do they want to do any other movement? Well, we know we have some artillery available. So I think this artillery unit, which is really fast, is going to go 1, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. So it'll be, this is like the key sector of the battle. This is going to hold these guys down. Now, of course, the Germans are very maneuverable, so maybe they'll go around. But anyone else want to move? I don't think so. Oh yeah, I wanted to move this guy, so he'll fall back across the river here. Okay, sort of uneventful Soviet turn. Then the Soviet engineering phase, which just like the Axis one, there's not really anything to do for this scenario. Following that is the Soviet surrender phase, which is explicitly omitted for this scenario. And then the game turn interphase. All activation markers are removed. We don't have any. Believe interdiction level's gone. It's quite possible this comes down later, but let's do it now. That's it. That's the end of the first turn.